So in today's video, we are going to be ranking the 4 AFC West quarterbacks. Now before we get into the video, please like and subscribe, and let's jump right into the video. Now this video is just completely inspired by the fact that the AFC West has gone completely wild this offseason. It feels like it's at 100 at all times. It feels like 0 teams are willing to let up. It feels like every team is going for that home run hit at all times. So it inspired me. I wanted to rank the 4 quarterbacks in the AFC. So coming in at number 4, we have Derek Carr. Now this isn't a knock on Derek Carr's talent. Now Derek Carr obviously has some issues, because if you look at Derek Carr, he's probably the most unproven quarterback of the entire division. He has yet to have a playoff win, and he's only participated in 1 playoff game in his career, which he just lost to the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, that's not to dismiss the fact that Derek Carr last season led the Raiders to 4 straight victories to get into the playoffs after every issue that the Raiders had last season, from John Gruden to losing Henry Ruggs to all these issues that the team seemed to have and can never get out of. He helped the Raiders get to the wild card game and was an interception away from possibly moving on to the next round. But again, he's only played in 1 playoff career in his career. He has a major fumbling issue. He has 76 career fumbles. He's lost 36 of them. He's put up pretty good numbers, I'd say, his entire career, but he does have a losing record at 57-70. And it feels like he's never been really fully able to elevate a team. Like, his 4 wins last season were impressive as heck through everything that he went through, but it just feels like he's never been been able to elevate an entire team and lead them to the next step. But now he has Darren Waller on his team, Devontae Adams, Hunter Renfrow, and a new head coach in Josh McDaniels. So maybe for the fortunes for Derek Carr are trending upward. This one was very tough for me because I was flip-flopping, and I can completely understand if you have these 2 flipped. But coming in at number 3, I have Russell Wilson. Now again, this isn't a knock on Russell Wilson. He might be the most proven quarterback of the entire division. But when it comes to talent and who we have right now, I think personally Russell Wilson is the 3rd best quarterback in the division. Again, not a knock on him. He's a Super Bowl champion, and he was recently just traded from Seattle to Denver. But he's a 9-time Pro Bowler, so there's really nothing you can knock Russell Wilson for. He's constantly a great quarterback. Even last season, when it wasn't necessarily a good season for him, he had 25 touchdowns, 6 interceptions in 14 games. He had 40 touchdowns, 13 interceptions his last season fully healthy. His numbers are consistently good, and I feel like he's kept the Seattle Seahawks relevant longer than probably what they should have been, because the Seahawks have been a mess for quite a while. The fact that they made the playoffs a couple years ago is kind of insane, just knowing how pathetic and bad their defense was. Last year, it was just way too much for him to overcome. He's only had 1 losing season in his entire career. Now, Russell Wilson, I think his career is rejuvenated, and he gets to go to a team that has a whole bunch of young talent, a new head coach, and it seems like there's a huge spark lit under Russell Wilson. And who knows, let Russ cook might actually become a legitimate thing for once in the NFL, and he might actually get an MVP vote. So that means coming in at number 2, I have Justin Herbert. Now, I completely understand if people rank Justin Herbert below Russell Wilson and put Russell Wilson at number 2. I completely understand it. Justin Herbert, he's the youngest quarterback in this division. He's the least experienced quarterback in the division. He's never made the playoffs. He's had a winning season, which was last season, but he couldn't even make the playoffs. I get all of that. Like, Justin Herbert is probably, other than Derek Carr, possibly the least proven quarterback. He could be the most least proven quarterback of the entire division, and I completely understand that. From the accomplishments that Justin Herbert has, he doesn't really have any. He's up there with Derek Carr when it comes to accomplishments. But when it comes to his talent, I think it's some of the most undeniable talent in the NFL right now. There is 0 doubts what Justin Herbert can do. There was that throw that he made against the New York Giants that had people in awe. He came in against Kansas City a couple years ago when Tyrod Taylor went down, and he just took over the NFL. He was the light that the Chargers needed for a garbage franchise that were the Chargers. And again, the Chargers aren't really in dysfunction. It's just the Chargers seem to always find a way to out-Charger themselves and lose games. And I think Justin Herbert and I think the Chargers organization should feel very lucky that they have him, because they wasted all those years of Phillip Rivers. Yes, he was a turnover machine. Yes, he would have a losing season, it felt like, every other year. One year they were the best, one year they were the worst. I get all that. But I feel like things are different with Justin Herbert. He's not the turnover machine. And if you look what he did in that final week against the Raiders this past season, I felt like he did everything he possibly could. He literally put the team on his back. That final drive, just converting fourth down after fourth down after fourth down and still coming up short in that game because of a one silly move that his head coach made. I don't necessarily think it's fair to put all the fault on Justin Herbert. I think the dude has spectacular talent. I think great things are coming for him and the Chargers, especially with all the moves that they have made this past season. So I think Justin Herbert and the Chargers are destined for great things to happen with them. But for any of these three quarterbacks to have anything good go their way, they're going to have to beat the #1 quarterback in the AFC West and possibly the entire AFC, and that is Patrick Mahomes. Now, as a Chiefs fan, I don't want to sit here and bolster this entire list and just talk nonstop about Patrick Mahomes. His accomplishments speak for themselves. He's a Super Bowl champion. He's won 4 straight AFC championship games. He's a Super Bowl MVP. He's a league MVP. He threw 5,000 yards, 50 touchdowns in his first full season starting. That was also the same year he won his MVP. Mahomes has literally lit up the entire NFL on fire for his entire career, his four full years starting. He's been by far one of the most talented, most must-see watches, one of the most clutch. He's been almost everything. Patrick Mahomes, he came into the league and he's just been absolutely insane. And even for a down season that he had last year, he had 4,800 yards, 37 touchdowns, 13 interceptions. He has a 50-13 career record. And I think perfectly what defines Patrick Mahomes is that 13 seconds. Like, the drive in overtime was spectacular, but it would have never happened if it wasn't for that spectacular 13-second drive. You can define him by WASP, but what they ran in the Super Bowl, that was a spectacular play call. Just what Mahomes has done to elevate the Chiefs. I understand he just lost Tyreek Hill, but what Mahomes has done to elevate the Chiefs from a team that would make the playoffs but then lose in the wild card round every year to being a legitimate threat and a team that people are scared to play every single year just because of the pure talent that Patrick Mahomes brings to the football field. It's hard to deny Patrick Mahomes not only is the best quarterback in the AFC West, not only possibly the best quarterback in the AFC, but he could possibly be the best quarterback in the NFL. But that is my ranking of the AFC West quarterbacks. Give me your rankings down below, and I'll see you in the next one.